It's always nice to be able to start an episode by saying that today is a very big day for your Espo Eagles. It is trade deadline day, and there are moves to be made. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But before we get to that, before we get to us potentially making the playoffs for the first time in this series, there are a couple of comments that I wanted to get to from the last video. Starting off with Liam Gilmore, ridiculously hard series idea, undrafted to glory challenge. My response to that is that series ridiculously hard, or would that be down to being extremely lucky and at the game's mercy? I think there's a difference between having a series be based solely on luck and having it be very difficult. Devin, you had a couple of points here. I'm going to get to pretty much all of them. As far as looking and sorting by, the whole free agents and sorting by overall and everything, the reason why I don't do that is because you'll end up with an issue like this. For example, right, if we're looking for prospects, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. We're like, oh, okay, Canadian, and you just keep skipping through, and then that happens, and it resets itself. Is it the most tedious thing in the world? No. But to me, it's not any more tedious than just assuming based off of surnames, especially for those coming out of the draft. Once we're into computer-generated territory only, it's pretty easy to assume what names are Finnish. So it's tedious, just as tedious as looking through the rest of the free agent list. Teravainen, cap's hardly a concern for you when 80% of your roster's on one-year deals. I treat it like I treat Draft to Glory series, where you can sit there and think, man, you have all the cap space in the world. If you don't tread lightly, you can get yourself into some serious trouble. So that's the reason. Stop spinning the wheel before you acquire players. Here's the thing. As I've talked about with this series and the Carolina series, if people suggest, hey, maybe try this way, I'll do that and then see what the response is to the change. That's it. That's what it comes down to, really. Now, the good thing is, with the majority of moves that I've made, if I've spun the wheel before deciding on the deal, I still typically end up going through with the deal anyway, because it's always down to and involving players that I plan on acquiring anyway, or at least that would make sense to. And in the case of the Teravainen poll, it makes sense to get you guys involved by knowing exactly what that deal would be if we elect to go for him. So that is why. Aside from that, there were a couple of other comments that I wanted to get to, but I responded to them mainly. The main things that were brought up, of course, is that there were players that I ended up missing on the trade block, which is not all that surprising, I would say. So we are going to make some moves here. We're gonna make some moves. I'm actually double checking the list right now. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything. Pretty sure I didn't. I will thank you guys for the support on the comments on all that. If I missed anything, I would have responded to you. Yeah, I think. Anyway, let's get down to business here first, shall we? Let's handle the least important of our business first and foremost. I left it up to you guys. Who was going to be the leadership group of this team? And you made it quite clear. Capo Caco is going to be our captain, with Rantanen and Ristolainen as the alternates. So that was the first change to make. Aside from that, again, we had some players that we could potentially pick up. I don't remember if he was on Washington or not. But as far as needing better center depth, I mean, Granlund's not really gonna help. I mean, it would take someone like Lammikko and Suomela out of the lineup, which could be for the best, I suppose. So I'm tempted, but not committing to making that move. And the other player was, who was the other player? I'm completely blanking right now. Who was the other player? Eric Holla, who thankfully is on a one-year deal. So we could technically improve the squad here and there. We have the cap space to do so. Got $9 million available. So I think we'll end up improving the team overall. The big question, of course, though, heading into this episode was whether or not we were going to trade for Teuvo Teravainen. Of course, we did have the spin as to whether or not we had to stay loyal. Again, I said view the wheel spins as a no movement, no trade, but it's not exactly a no movement, no trade. Unlike in the Carolina series, this is more about just preventing me from wheeling and dealing players. Again, view it as more of a loyalty wheel. But we did spin the wheel, and it came down to, if I trade for Teravainen, we have to stay loyal for all 6 years. And you guys still voted to acquire Teuvo Teravainen. So let's see if we indeed have the assets to pull that off, which I think we will be able to. Now, in terms of goaltending, we do have 2 elite goaltending prospects, so obviously an assumption would be to trade Hakkarainen to pull off this deal. I'd like to avoid doing that if I could, just because, as we've seen in old school drafted glories, or just older drafted glories in general, sometimes one elite goalie doesn't pan out, and it's nice to have both of them, just in case. So, it would be nice, but I think we're probably going to have to use that goaltender to pull off this deal, just because, again, we don't have the most valuable selections available. Someone like Pettinen could be used to pull it off, but he'd be probably better suited to get us a Granlund or a Holla more than anything, forward-wise as well. Peelman's actually not that bad, or Pillman, perhaps. I'm gonna just call him Brian Pillman for the rest of the series. I hope you don't mind. But yeah, if we're going to pull off this deal for Teuvo Teravainen, that is going to require either the moval of a goaltender or a draft pick. I prefer to hold on to the draft picks just in case, because we could find ourselves another goalie. So unfortunately, Hakkarainen's going to have to go, which is really scary. Like, really scary to give up a strong Finnish goaltender, especially, too, when we don't have the ability to get one of the Finnish goaltenders, one of the elite-level Finnish goaltenders who are already in the game. Oh, boy, or I give up 2 first-round picks. Yikes, it's going to be so much more expensive than I'd want it to be. You know, I might try to nickel and dime my way to it, because I really don't feel that great about giving up that goalie prospect. I really don't. So let's see if I can slowly maneuver my way to getting this deal done before anything else happens. Pettinen will certainly be used. How close are we? We might as well try. Slowly edge our way to where we want to be. Of course, right now the defensive situation has turned out to be just so promising. Toskala could be worth using. Of course, we debated over trading the likes of Laaksonen, Kuokkanen, Pirnez. And this could be the spot to do it. Pirnez. So, I mean, technically, that would be the one player we could add to the deal. How close are we now? Holy shit! Really? That went through. So, I was going to try to retain salary, even though it's not the worst contract in the world. I was going to try to retain salary. I honestly didn't think that was going to go through. It didn't take that much. We used Florida's first-round pick. We used 2 prospects who aren't going to be major impact players at the NHL level. And we picked up Teuvo Teravainen. I'm all right with it. I doubt we would have been able to make that work in terms of salary retention. Teuvo Teravainen, welcome to the team. Now, if we stay loyal to the wheel, he will be here for that for the duration of that contract, all 6 years of it, up until the point where he's 35 years old. So be prepared to see that face for the majority of this series. Teuvo Teravainen is here, and I don't think we're done yet, because those other moves are going to be relatively cheap. So let's go talk to the Winnipeg Jets, not the Winnipeg Jets, the Washington Capitals, about one Marcus Granlund. And that should be another relatively easy move to make. The good thing is, too, we retained our own first-round pick. And we still have that extra second, so we're looking pretty good. Of course, we talked about, again, trying to move these extra defensemen. I think that's the way to go. So let's see here. Toskala, I kind of want to keep. I think he could end up being half-decent. But then again, that's a lot of value just sitting there, because Risto's not going anywhere, Nudivara's not going anywhere. Vertanen's probably a future member. Kuka, Heinola, Teravainen. Yeah, Toskala's not really going to have a spot here. So we can use Toskala in this deal. They're not interested in him. But I mean, obviously we're winning out, or they're winning out right now in terms of value. I think let's see if we can add a draft pick to this. Jesus Christ, Washington's terrible. I'm going to add a second rounder to this and maybe add on a player who's not currently under contract to try and make this work, just to sort the value. And again, we don't even have Kiprusoff signed right now, which is absolutely insane. Is there anybody else that we don't have signed who's worth anything? Not really looking like it. So that second round pick might be a bit of a stretch. Because, of course, I can only send them one player who's under contract, unless I wanted to send them Peltonen as well, which I kind of want to hold on to him. So that won't go through. I should still be able to get a draft pick back in this deal, though, and make that work out for us. So let's add the 3rd and a 6th to safety net it. Are we good? We are not. What if I take that out? Are we good now? We are not. Okay, well, shit, maybe we're closer than I thought. How about Granlund, a 4th and a 6th for Toskala, who we just don't have room for? A bit off. What about just Granlund and a 4th? There we go. So, Marcus, I was going to say Mikhail. Marcus Granlund is here. He has 1 year left on his deal. Obviously, we don't have to worry about potentially trading him. And there is still one more move to be made here. So let's see what we can do. We'll go best lines. That, of course, will affect the AHL. Let's go talk to Vegas. Let's see what we can do about getting us into the playoffs. As far as who it's going to be, again, it is going to be the face of this series, Erik Haula. Of course, there was no real reason in particular that he was used on the thumbnail. It's just, hey, it looked good. So Erik Haula, who's making a boatload of money, but that's not, of course, an issue to us right now. And as far as who we want to use here, Vegas may not have an extra roster spot, which kind of sucks. But this could still work out. So as far as who we would use here, someone like a Loxinen. I gotta be honest, Loxinen, Kuokkanen, Honka would all be perfect. I don't think I can send both of them. I can't. So Kuokkanen would be the guy to use. How close is that to being a done deal? It's going to be Kuokkanen and a draft pick to make this happen, which isn't too bad. Because, of course, now we have the 2 second-rounders, the 3rd rounder as well, the extra 4th. And actually, I'm going to use that extra 4th from Washington, even though ours would be higher. Still not close. All right, it might end up having to be a 3rd rounder, which I'm okay with. Let's go ahead and tack on, say, a 6th, just to safety net it a little bit. That will go through. Makiniemi will be put through waivers. That is, of course, our 3rd-string goaltender. I'm fine with that, even if we lose him. And there we go. It has been a relatively efficient deadline day for us. Teuvo, Teravainen, Marcus Granlund, and Erik Haula all brought in. And I think we're looking pretty good. So defensively, still looking strong without signing that one dude to a contract a season earlier. I mean, we could bring him in, but it would waste a year of his ELC, so it's probably for the best to just be patient. Although, who knows what this season could bring. That's the really tough choice right now. So guys like Suomala and Virta are going to be on the outside looking in. Lammikko has already cleared waivers. Armia is also down. So right now it's 10, 11, and 12 with Donskoy. I guess it is the question out of the bottom 6, who should be there. To be honest, I'm not sure. So Suomala has a grand total of 17 points. Virta's killing it. He can't be dropped. Donskoy with 17 points. Tamala with 13. I gotta be honest, I'm thinking Tamala and Suomala should be on the way out. They'd both have to go through waivers. And then Lammikko, who was dropped. How good was he doing? Because he was automatically sent down. He only had 12 points. I'm going to send both these guys down through waivers. And we'll see if they clear. I'm not too concerned about losing either. Yeah, not at all concerned about losing either if they do get claimed. And they were both claimed by Arizona. All right, well, Arizona, you're welcome for the extra depth. The good thing is, of course, we still have Lammikko, Armia, Salamaki, so it's not as if we don't have some depth. But this team overall just took a decent little step forward. Let's take a look at the squad as it stands before we get back into simming. So it is going to be, again, Kakko with Simon Teuvo and Ranta, Teravainen, Lambert, and probably still Bjorkqvist, even though Bjorkqvist isn't exactly killing it. Of course, there is the debate, though. Patrick Virta is killing it right now in terms of points. So Haula could be dropped. You know what? I'm willing to give that a shot, as crazy as that sounds. So Repo as a 4th liner. Lehkonen technically shouldn't be down there either. How's Lehkonen done this year? It's actually been okay. Maybe we drop Virta back down. Yeah, I think that'll be for the best. So I think we'll go Bjorkvist, Teuvo, and Lambert. Teuvo 77 faceoffs. Lambert's a little bit better, but I want Lambert on the outside. And then we'll have Lehkonen, Granlund, and Haula, who's actually the best center out of the group. It is Haula, but Granlund is a little bit better in the middle. And then fourth line of... Let's have... Who is the best center out of the bunch here by far? Virta. So Repo, Virta, and Donskoy. The team's looking a hell of a lot better. We really didn't have to give up a whole hell of a lot to get these deals done either. Defensively, still the same. Again, we have an 83 overall defenseman waiting in the wings for next season. It's just whether or not Ranta and Rask is a good enough tandem to make something happen in the playoffs. And then as far as the AHL is concerned, the lines are going to be a little bit weird for this season. Laxo, of course, needs to get back into the lineup. And then defensively, let me just make sure that we don't have anybody scratched who should not be. We don't. Beautiful. And forward-wise, again, let me just make sure that there's nobody here who should not be. Salamaki might be the guy that we take out. Yar is not ours. And Hutala is not ours. So beautiful. We're set up pretty much perfectly right now. It's actually a good thing those two guys did get claimed. I don't think they would have had that much trade value. So we're looking good. I'm going to take one more stroll through the trade blocks, more than likely, as we're now listed at hopefuls. Let's take one more look to see if there is anybody else available. I doubt the majority of the teams have changed things up, but it's at least worth double checking. Again, the majority of this episode will be, of course, the deadline, and I think we'll probably get into the first round if we make it. I mean, you got to figure, though, our chances just drastically went up, but there's still no guarantee of us making it. But we might as well double check the block. Of course, as I learned in the comment section the last episode, I missed a couple of players, which is not all that surprising. It can happen. It absolutely can happen. But again, if I had just jump cut and said, like, hey, well, here's all the players that are on the block, and, you know, we never would have known. So that's why I do everything long form, because you guys can catch certain things. Like, I think in the Carolina series recently, 3 players tied to win the Hart Trophy. I never would have noticed. So it's nice. There's benefits to this, thankfully. Unfortunately, no big-time goaltenders available to us. Again, thankfully, though, we have our goalies of the future. Again, we are not limited to trading just through the trade block itself, but it does help out in a big-time way in terms of maximizing the trade value and, you know, what we get back. So much, much happier to do it this way instead of having to pay an arm and a leg to try and get somebody. Now, unfortunately, there are no other Finns here. Famous last words. Vancouver, nobody great. Jacobson's going to be what? Yeah, you're going to be Swedish. It's going to say maybe an outside chance, depending on the first name, to not be Swedish, but no, Swedish. So again, I doubt we see anybody else here that's going to help us out in a big-time way. But if we do somehow see that a team has changed up their approach, it could be helpful. But I highly, highly doubt it. Madden and Kachuk both on the block. Ottawa, what are you even doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Why can't I trade for them? That is my response. Yeah, I don't think anything's changed about these. So I think we're good. I think we're good. 33, 26, and 4 on the season. We cannot trade any other defenseman without having to, you know, fill out other roles or whatever. So we're good. I mean, we might not get the most back for Loxton, but he's a 3rd-round pick, a second at best if I pair him with Honka. I'm not too concerned. We might as well leave them for the season. So let's see what happens, shall we? Have we messed with the team's fake chemistry that doesn't exist too much? Time will tell. Let's see how this goes. We'll sim a couple of weeks into the future. We start off with a game on deadline day against Nashville. We pick up a 3-1 win, a 2-1 win against Anaheim, and a 7-1 loss against Tampa. Okay, that put us right back into check, didn't it? Although we respond. I mean, we won 4 out of 5 games to start this month. Good Lord. We're going to hit 40 wins here before we're even done simming, aren't we? We have 2 chances to get it done. Holy hell. Can we beat Carolina? Jesus. Look at the Eagles. We end up picking up a pity point against Montreal. 40, 27, and 5. So where are we right now in terms of the standings? We are in 2nd place in the Metro. 3 points clear of Philadelphia with a game at hand. 5 points back of division-leading New Jersey, as Simon Teuvo is nearly point a game. This could be a very special season for us. Things are looking good. Let's sim to April 1st. We start off with a back-to-back, a game against the Islanders, which we win, and a game against Colorado, which we win. 42 games now. 42 wins, I should say, as we end up blowing a back-to-back there. Ooh, 3 straight losses. So we play Boston, Winnipeg, Vegas, Calgary, and Florida. Let's sim this game against Boston before double-checking the standings. If we lose here, which we did not, that would really hurt our chances of catching the Devils, although I have a feeling it's going to be impossible anyway. It is not impossible. We are 3 points back in New Jersey. We are going to finish as a top 2 team in the Metro. It's just a matter of where. Philadelphia is not going to catch us. Technically they can, but come on. They're not going to catch us. We have this. We can win out and catch New Jersey. They're 3 points clear. We each have 4 games left. If we beat Winnipeg here, there's a very good chance of us finishing first in this division, and we did. New Jersey, though, also won. That hurts. We have to win out here just to have a chance, but there you see, we have clinched a playoff spot for the first time. It didn't take as long as a Draft of Glory, of course. You would not expect it to, but we have made the playoffs. The question now is whether or not we will be the 2 seed in the conference, because, of course, New Jersey will finish behind Tampa, or whether or not we will be taking on either Philadelphia, New York, or Columbus. Man, even maybe New York as well. The Rangers. That is a log jam that we managed to get out ahead of, thanks to our success post-trade deadline. Let's play Vegas. Can we get the win? Yes, we can. 6-1. Did New Jersey also win? I didn't see. They did not. We are 1 point back with 2 games left. We have to win both of these to still have a chance. Can we beat Calgary to keep our dreams alive? We lose in a shootout. New Jersey won, but they have not clinched. If New Jersey loses their last game of the season and we win, we will have won the division title. The question is, has New Jersey played yet? They have not. If we beat Florida and the Devils lose, there is a chance of us being the division winners for this season. Let's sim this game against Florida, even though it could all be for naught. First period, 2-2. Matheson scores, Heinola and Holla restore the lead. Dylan Sadawi is able to tie this game up. Second period, we take the lead. Capo Caco scores on Condon. Third period, can we take the division title? Mikko Rantanen makes it 4. I don't think Condon's going to be able to hold up. Power play for Florida. Can we kill it off? Yes, we do, and we're halfway through the third period. And Heponiemi scores. This just got a lot more interesting. 6 minutes left. Can the Eagles hold on to potentially win a division title? Yes, they can. 4-3 final over the Florida Panthers. Rantanen's goal holds up as the winner. The big question now, did the Devils win? If not, we have taken the division, of course, unless they get the pity point. New Jersey lost. The Eagles have won the Metro Division. What a surge post-deadline. What a choke job from the Devils. Oh my goodness. 98 points. We take the division on tiebreaker. We will be playing, I think, Philadelphia. We'll be playing Buffalo in the first round. Tampa will be playing Philadelphia. And we would have been playing the Islanders had we lost out. That is a massive moment for this team and for this series as a whole. We take the division in the 2023-2024 season on tiebreaker or not. We got the job done. Although technically, We may have screwed ourselves because we're going to have a slightly more difficult matchup now, but I don't care. What a late surge post-deadline, and things are looking very, very good. Capo Caco, you know what? Let's go to the player screen because, of course, we're going to take a look around the league, but that is a very, very big deal for us. Again, we already know we're playing Buffalo in the first round, but 46 wins on the season. Absolutely tremendous. In terms of the entire league, we were the 6th best team in the league, which is absolutely crazy. Goals for per game, you had Tampa and San Jose, the only 2 teams averaging over a 3. We were mid-table, if not towards the bottom end. Yeah, we were mid-table. Goals against, 315, the highest for the Minnesota Wild. We were, again, mid-table with a 261, excuse me. Our power play was at 19.9%, which was closer to the top. Vancouver had the top power play at 24.2%, and our penalty kill was terrible. The worst in the league, in fact, yet we still won the division. So obviously, we will look to change things up heading into the playoffs. That is actually astonishing that we were able to win the division despite having the league's worst power play, or penalty kill, I should say. That is absolutely insane. For the record, the Helsinki Hawks will not be playoff bound, although for those of you who are paying attention, you would have already known that. As far as the point totals are concerned, let's take a look at the NHL first. Kasper Teuvo at 22 years old, point-a-game pace, not too shabby. Mikko Rantanen, 39 goals, 80 points. I don't know if he's worth the money, but he's probably worth the money at $14.5 million per. Capo Caco, 68 points, 26 goals. Brad Lambert, 25 goals, 58 points on the year. Teuvo finished with 55. Patrick Virta, 38 points, not too shabby. Arturi Lehkonen with 31. From there, though, some of the depth scoring was a little bit low, and I'm going to focus solely on forwards, where you have Kasper Bjorkqvist, 27 points, 18 goals, but $3.5 million for 27 points. Granlund also finished the year with 27 points. Donskoy with 19. Repo with 17. And Erik Haula, 11 points in 19 games. Not too bad. He wasn't even playing in the NHL when we picked him up. Really? Maybe he was a healthy scratch. He wasn't doing anything. So, Eric, you're welcome for saving you. Amongst the defense, we have Nudivara leading the way with 27 points, Teravainen and Risto at 26 each, 21 for Petri Nokalainen, 15 for Heinola, and 3 for Matti Kuka. The goaltending was pretty good. Ranta with a 9.16 through 66 appearances, a 9.12 for Tuukka Rask through 21 appearances. I don't know if we should have been a playoff team, judging by some of these numbers, but I'm so glad we are. Let's take a look around the league. Jack Hughes led the way, 96 points. Timo Meier up there as well, his teammate in San Jose. You have McDavid, Taylor Hall, Nikita Gusev, Philip Forsberg, Stamkos, Barzal, and Simon Teuvo up there as well. Those were the only players to have at least a point-a-game pace. Right, and of course, was quite close. And yes, I did notice Jack Hughes scored 68 goals. If you create players, they always score so well. It's ridiculous. 68 goals for Hughes, 52 for Gusev, McDavid with 43. Good Lord. Good Lord. Who was the penalty minute leader for the hell of it? Dorian Tam. Tham. Despite his 90 discipline. Because, you know, logical. This game is anything but logical. In terms of power play points, it has to be Hughes, right? Oh, wow. Hischer and Hall. Damn, wouldn't have guessed that. As far as the defense is concerned, just to give them a little bit of a spotlight, Ghost Bear is in Pittsburgh. That's great. OEL, Quinn Hughes is up there. Cale Makar as well. The goal-scoring king might have been OEL with 17. It was not. It was Dante Fabro with 19. Amongst the goaltenders, you have Ingram leading the way in terms of wins. Best save percentage among starters was John Gibson. Not too shabby. And as far as the rookie race is concerned, Wojciech Churin has, good old Wojciech Churin is going to win the Calder. First round pick in 2021. Dominic Harrington was up there as well. You had a couple of rookies break 50. break 50. Not too bad. And Kamel was also up there. Again, in a different life, Kamel is on this team, but that is not the case. We are playoff bound, ladies and gents. It is playoff time in Espoo, in Finland, for God's sakes. Again, I think the team, there's a debatable point as far as how we should set this up, but, you know, Kakko, Simon, Teuvo, and Rantanen is the top line. I feel like that's a must. Second line, though, of Bjorkqvist, Teravainen, and Lambert. Debatable point over what to do there as far as whether or not Bjorkqvist should be in that top 6. He's still a strong player. He's just not a big point getter despite some of his offensive abilities. And you could say, well, yeah, he's not a big point getter. He's a two-way. Ha! Well, yeah, but he's playing between two great players. It's not as if Teravainen and Lambert are pushovers, especially in terms of offensive awareness, right? So, I don't know. There's a debatable point there. Lehkonen, Granlund, Haula, I don't hate. Haula is making an argument, though, for how he's played so far this year, since we acquired him in those 19 games, to play on the second line, and I wouldn't be against that. And, of course, Patrick Virta, as well, has done very well in terms of putting up points. So I wouldn't necessarily be against running Virta or Haula on the second line. And then maybe Marcus Granlund goes down to the fourth line, and we do something like this, or we do something like that, or like that. I don't know. We have options. Let me know what you think. Defensively, pretty straightforward. What we're looking to do here, goaltending-wise, it's pretty much the same. Again, down in the AHL, we do have the likes of Lammikko and Armia, who could potentially be called up, and Salomaki as well, if players end up struggling. The defensive depth as well isn't all that bad. The big thing is having the patience and the composure to not sign our two unsigned superstars who will be joining this team next year so that we do not waste a year on their ELC, although, God, I want to. Both 83 overalls, Kiprasov and Teravainen, have to be signed at the end of the year, and both are looking great. Kipper was a first-round pick. Tommy Teravainen was a second-round pick. We've done pretty well drafting thus far. Of course, we've been limited in our options, so we have really no choice but to have done well in our drafting. We are going to end it here, actually. We will save our first ever playoff matchup. Again, we already know that we're playing Buffalo. We will save that for the next episode. An interesting one here today, though. Would we have fought back to take the division had we not made those trades? Probably not. So credit to you guys, keen eye. Granted, it wasn't Mikael Granlund, it was Marcus. But still, that helped. Eric Hall has been great since we acquired him. And again, it took very little to get that done. And then, of course, the big acquisition of Teuvo Teravainen. I will see you guys in the next one. Again, point out anything in the comments, whatever, feedback, criticisms, do whatever the hell you want. I can't stop you. I mean, I could hit delete, but damn it, I have better things to do. Like playing FIFA Pro Clubs, I guess. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the support. I will see you very soon. Till then, have a good one.